Welcome everyone to our first Founder Chats of 2021. I think that's the first time I've said 2021 out loud in like a public space, so that's weird. But I'm really, oh yeah, oh my gosh, really excited to have Sarah here. She's the founder and CEO of Life Lapse, and I've known Sarah now since, I have it written down here, sometime in 2018, if you recall.
It's been 3 years.
It feels like, is that 3 years? I can't do it. Yeah, 2018.
Technically, yes, and now that it's 2021.
Exactly. Yeah. And it was February, I think. And I was in a Facebook group and sent a message saying, "Hey, doing this event and would love to have some woman there." And you said, "Yeah, I'll be there." And
I forgot about
showed
that,
up.
yeah.
That was the first time. Yeah. So you showed up and I think you won one of the top 3 spots, if not the top spot. You might have won the top spot, actually.
It was the top spot, and there is the only female presenting that day, so I'm glad you requested that in that Facebook group.
Yeah, well, that was the thing, right? Like we launched our women's pitch events by that time, but we still weren't seeing a lot of women coming out to pitch to our like classic pitch events. So
yeah.
It's changed a lot. Taking them virtual, we're seeing a lot more closer to kind of 50-50 in terms of people who are applying to pitch, which is great in terms of gender anyways. So
hopefully, like, I don't know, what's the mentality around that? Just less intimidating, like standing in front of a large audience, or?
You know, I have to do some research, but my suspicion, I'm curious if anyone in the chat here has any ideas, and you as well, Sarah, is part of it is the timing of the events. So being able to do it from home, I think, has a lot to do with it. People used to say all of the pitch events are after work. I'm primary caregiver. I'm not able to come to that. Can you shift them? And there was this real kind of like pushback from the ecosystem, at least in Vancouver, for doing daytime pitch events, which is really weird because like angel forums are during the day anyway. So I'm not sure why that was the case, but we like kind of got pushed back on doing daytime events until COVID hit, and then we started doing all of them daytime because you know, people weren't really going to events at night. They're still not, actually less so now. People the feedback we're getting now is that even more so people are more tired and less wanting to go to screen time kind of event. So I appreciate everyone who's come here today, because I know it's more time in front of the screen and more time using your brain in that way, which can be really difficult. So that's one of my suspicions, is that because it's during my light's really bright, so I apologize. Oh, that's better. Okay. More human colored. Because it's during the day and because everyone's working from home, that more women are able to be a part of it. It might have something to do with the fact that virtual space maybe feels more comfortable. And you know, you're not going to be the only woman in the room, which was always or you won't know if you're the only woman in the room, which was one of the issues pre-COVID that we heard. So I have lots of theories. I speak on the topic of like women in pitching. Oh, hello, who's this?
This is Jack. He's
Jack.
Coming
Hi,
for
Jack.
cuddles and trying to take over the live.
That's fine. You're welcome, Jack. All right. Anyways, that was a tangent about women in pitching. But if anyone ever wants to talk about that, it's something I'm really interested in and have seen interesting trends over the last few years. But let's get on to you, Sarah, and Life Lapse and hearing where you're at. So if you haven't been to one of these lives before, essentially what it looks like is kind of 30 minutes of conversation, facilitated conversation, let's call it, kind of getting into the origin stories of these companies and what these incredible founders in our community are doing, what their 2020 looked like. We launched them during COVID, really to provide this like space to amplify and get brand exposure and connect with people, which has been really, really cool. I don't remember how many we've done now. I always mean to look this up before and always forget. 30 something, I think. And they're all on our YouTube as well. It's been amazing, really fun, and I'm so excited to get to reconnect with you, Sarah, and hear what you've been doing. So
yeah, it's been a while.
It's been a while. I know, yeah, because I think the last time, so we do have a blog post about Life Lapse and you on the Volition blog, and that was in 2019, and it was right after you'd done Dragon's Den, or your Dragon's Den clip or episode was about to go live. So it's been a while, and I think I saw you in July 2019 in Seattle Women's Pitch Night as well. But I think that's the last time Yeah, last time I've seen you. So without further ado, I would love for you to introduce yourself, introduce people to, I guess, what is Life Lapse, and then we'll get into the origin story, but just like a quick preamble, if anyone isn't familiar. Also, actually, just before that, if you are in the chat, whether you're here live or you're watching this on IGTV or YouTube later, please do say hi, and feel free to ask questions at any time as well. And thank you again for being here. So over to you, Sarah.
All right. Well, hello, everyone. Thank you for joining. My name is Sarah Boland. I'm the founder and CEO of Life Lapse. LAPSE, not Life Labs, the blood clinic. That's a thing in Vancouver here because people think like, oh, you founded the blood clinic. No. So Life Lapse is a stop motion video app. So think time lapse for your life. And we make the stop motion process 10 times quicker and like 300 times cheaper than using, sorry, my dog's like trying to intervene here, than trying to use like all these different pieces of professional equipment. So traditionally with stop motion, you need a DSLR camera, you need $300 professional software, you need your camera hooked up to your laptop. So it's like, it's not very mobile.
Yeah.
And on top of that, stop motion is really tedious. So how stop motion works, if you're not familiar, is basically you're animating objects by taking one photo at a time. So let's say like you have this chapstick and you want it to like move across the screen by itself. You take a photo, move it a little bit, take a photo, and repeat it. And then when you play it back at a high speed, it looks like it's moving on its own. And we at Life Lapse, we try and we simplify that whole process. We have features built right into the camera to help specifically with like stop motion creation. We have every editing feature you can imagine to help with the process. And yeah, at the end of the day, we want like small business owners and creators to create really cool, eye-catching videos that will really stand out on social media from their phone.
Yeah, amazing. And if you check out lifelapse_app, your Instagram page has some really great examples of how people use it. But I would love, the chopstick was really great, but I'm curious about if I'm like gonna download Life Lapse, like what is there like an ideal kind of like the most fun project you've worked on or seen done, or like what kind of things can I do with this?
Anything really. So like, let's say for Volition, you want to promote this IG live that's coming up. What you could do is like have your phone enter the screen with like your Instagram and like have it slide up onto a desk, and then I don't know, maybe have like whoever's name is going to be on it, like you could slide it in beside a piece of paper. But in terms of like what I don't know if I have a favorite project, but I just love seeing like everything that people create. Like it's just crazy like how creative you can get with stop motion and hyperlapses. Yeah.
Neat. Okay, we'll have to check it out. I know people can be so creative and amazing, and really think outside the box. That's really cool. So
like some of the
why
projects
did
you can... Oh, sorry. So to
no,
say
go
some
ahead.
of the
No,
projects
go ahead.
you can tell like people put like hours of their time into, and I think that's just so cool to see like the effort going into that and the creativity and thinking about what that would have looked like for them if they didn't have Life Lapse. That probably would have taken them days or weeks. So yeah.
Amazing. So how long, when did you kind of conceive of Life Lapse and get it off the ground? What does that timeline look like?
Yeah, so that was in 2017, I think it was. 2017. I can never remember the year. So we've been live for almost 3.5 years, which means I started it almost 4 years ago, which would have been 2017. So I was a professional videographer. Before launching Life Lapse, I worked with brands in Vancouver to create all their social media, like video marketing videos, and I worked in-house in these marketing departments. So I was a full-time employee, and I just saw how huge video was getting. This was before Instagram even had video for context.
Right.
And then Instagram
Before Snapchat. Yeah.
yeah, Snapchat wasn't a thing then, but like YouTube was big, Facebook, and just telling these brand stories and sharing like more of the brand just beyond with the products that they sell and telling a story around it was just so important and impactful for the business to like add some life into their company, especially because it's like I worked for an e-commerce company, so people aren't really going to have that one-on-one like live interaction with them.
Yeah. Can't touch and feel it. Yeah.
Yeah. And then on the side, I mean, I don't know if you've seen my personal Instagram post, but like I always have a million side projects on the go. So like I'm always hustling, doing something. I love starting things. I'm always trying to think of like the next big idea. I start a lot of projects. I don't follow through on a lot of them once they're launched. But one thing I've always done when I was a videographer was helping these smaller brands on the side and doing everything from like influencer photos to video projects for brands to help tell their story. But one thing I noticed was a lot of people like didn't necessarily have the budget to hire me. Like I went to film school, I've got tens and thousands of dollars worth of equipment. How can they justify $2,000 on a 1-minute video for their brand? Like it's hard to get the ROI on that. It's not top priority for a small business who's wearing a million hats and they're trying to figure out where to stretch their budget. So yeah, that's like what got my wheels turning with Life Lapse on like what the opportunity was. iPhone cameras, they're just so amazing now. And even me personally, like I don't even use my DSLR anymore unless somebody's asking me for like professional photos. I just use my iPhone and capture like all my hiking and all that stuff because I don't want to lug a camera around, and the quality is good if you have the knowledge and the tools to know like how to edit and frame and all that stuff. So yeah, the goal with Life Lapse has always been to like put the power, I guess, back into the pocket of anyone who wants to get creative, specifically for us, like product-based brands who have a presence on social media, because stop motion works really well for that. Yeah, that's how we started.
Yeah, wow. And it seems like it's been such an incredible journey. You've done so many things. I saw you were, I don't know if you still are, at some point you were selling products as well. Like if I needed like a tripod or something like that. Is that still something you're doing?
No.
Okay, so tell us where are you at now? What is Life Lapse today?
Yeah, so I did attempt to do that, and for me, I think what I excel at and what really fuels me is digital products. I like the scalability of it. I like being able to go to sleep and waking up and not really being that much impacted if there's one download or a million downloads. Yeah. I'm not like, because back to my like previous life of being a videographer, like I've always wanted to build this empire, and it's like, okay, how do I do that as a videographer without, I basically never have to sleep to get to where I want in life, because editing is just so manual. So like I do not like trading my time for money. When I set up this store, like I got products in of what products people need. Like with stop motion, you need to have a tripod. You have to have good lighting. So I'm like, okay, this could be a good avenue to explore. But you know, all these products sitting in my house, and like it got to the point where somebody would like, I get the Shopify ding and I'd be like cringing, because I'm like, now I have to go pack this order, go drop it off to the thing. It's like, what, I'm making like a few bucks off this versus maybe if I just focused on like making the product of our app better, we could excel further that way. So that's a great lesson to learn though. Oh yeah, I'm glad I did it. And like, I don't know, maybe if we have somebody who's good at marketing Shopify stuff or dealing with the fulfillment side. I did get like a supplier who did fulfillment at the towards the end, because I was just so fed up with it. But yeah, it's not our focus right now. We just want to make the product great, and we have like links to Amazon products that we recommend. So that's our solution now. It sounds like you've had so many incredible lessons over the last few years, and I know that 2020 was
really intense. And I know that you were able to take advantage of some really great opportunities with the government over this past year. But I'd also love to know just like what has the last 10 months looked like for you? And what is your vision? Yay, it's working again. Thank you so much for letting us know. And what is your vision for the future of Life Lapse?
Yeah, so COVID has been obviously extremely awful. It's been a silver lining for our business. And I think I want to credit that to everyone's moving from home now and they have to get really crafty with their content creation. So we've been super blessed and fortunate to be in the position where we've actually grown. And I actually feel awkward saying that because I know so many businesses have been negatively impacted and shut down and all that stuff. So I don't like to gloat, but the reality is that we have grown. And
I mean, and the thing is,
so,
like all of the hard work you did up until 2020 as well, you became a trusted brand. So it's not like you just like showed up one day and took advantage of anything at all, you know, like this is so much hard work that you've put into this. So I think I will celebrate for you. I know it can feel uncomfortable. I understand that and appreciate that, but I think that you've done so much incredible work. So kudos to you, and that's why you thrived over the past 10 months. So nicely done.
So something we switched in April, because I know like a lot of businesses were like trying to figure out how they could support people during COVID. One of the things that we did is like we made all of our advanced tutorials in the app. They're normally like a part of the pro version of our app. And I switched those, like I made them available on our website for free, just so that people can learn more while they're at home. And like I noticed that actually like helped grow our business more. So we switched to that business model and then have just seen great success because of it. This time last year, like it was myself running the company with a few contractors, like my dev team was overseas. Now we've got a full iOS team in Canada because of those government grants that I want to share about.
Yes, please do.
Some of them. So there's it's called Career Launcher. That's who we got our grant through. But it's through the Digital Skills Youth Program. And what it is, they compensate 100% of these internships for up to 6 months, and it's $30,000 per employee. And then something else is in the summer, I hired a head of marketing, Teresa. So that was like a huge step for me, my first employee. She also is my best friend, and it's been awesome. She's like super awesome at her job, and it's been incredible to like have somebody to bounce all these ideas off of, because I know as you probably feel it too, like sometimes you just feel like you're shooting in the dark and you feel lonely and it's like, what am I doing with this? And there's so many things that you're juggling. So it's been nice to like offload stuff and talk strategy with somebody and grow the business from there. And then, we got the interns on board. So we got accepted with 2 positions. And so we got hired an iOS developer and a marketer. And then because we've also grown so much, I've been able to hire a senior iOS developer based in Ontario, and so now we've took all the iOS development offshore to Canada, which is amazing because now we're eligible for even more grants. And it's nice to just have a team in my time zone and have more of like a collaborative approach versus just like giving a task list and letting somebody run with it. So we've had like a butterfly transformation this year, and it's been awesome. And in terms of like the vision for the company, that's something I struggle with all the time, and my employees tell me this too. I don't really have like a long-term vision for the company. What I think I excel at and what I'm passionate about is focusing on growing 1 month from now, 2 months from now. And I'm just heads down in the weeds, always doing what can we do today to impact like next month's installs, ratings, everything. Like we want to create the best product as possible. It's not just about numbers. We want to build an awesome community of creators. So yeah, in terms of long-term
Cool.
vision, like we just
Or
want
this
to
time
be,
next year, you know, long term.
yeah. I don't like, I'd love to double, triple our business, and just be the #1 stop motion app. We have a competitor. I would say
Hmm.
they're more for hobbyists, creating like claymation or Lego type videos. We want to
Okay.
dominate, I guess, like we're creating a new
Product.
category with stop motion in for small business and content creators, and really building our community through like educational tutorials. Yeah, hope that
Amazing.
answers your question.
Yeah, no, I mean, there's no right answer. This is
Yeah,
entrepreneurship, Sarah. There's no right answer. You know
yeah.
this. And I think, like, I was just talking to a friend about this who also is like, you know, I really struggle with vision planning. It's not my thing. Like, that's my superpower is like this thing. Like, yeah, well, that's great. You know that. I mean, you've learned so much about yourself as an entrepreneur. And, you know, maybe, and like now you have a marketing person who maybe they can help with like developing a vision. Like, it doesn't have to be you coming up with these kinds of
Yeah.
things. This is what having a team and a village around you is for, is thinking about things in new ways. And if you're like incredible at the weeds of stuff and the month to month, then
Mm.
lean into that, which it sounds like is what you do anyway. So I
Yeah.
love that you own that and we're like comfortable saying this
Yeah.
because I feel like it'd be easy to be like, oh, like I don't know.
Yeah, I've got a lot of flaws and I'm not afraid to admit them. I do have a very clear vision for like my personal life, and
Yeah.
you know, a lot of the decisions I make in Life Lapse are tailored towards like getting to that life. But in terms of like, you know, do I want to exit to a particular company? Like, I don't know. So
Yeah.
that was always my plan from day one to have an exit, but the more I build this company, the more I just love having a team and an awesome workplace. And you know what, if this is a sweet lifestyle business for the next 10 years where I can like grow my family and have a fun workplace with my friends, like that also sounds pretty awesome to me.
That does sound awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, this piece about like where do you want to this again, I was talking to my friend about this, like how do you want to feel a year from now? Like what did like personally, where are you going a year from now? And not asking you to answer these questions, but it doesn't have to be about the numbers if that's not like what unlocks your imagination, you
Mm.
know?
Yeah.
So I think that's incredible. And you have an exciting year ahead if you want to
Yeah.
speak to that.
Yeah. So I'm expecting twin boys. Um,
Gosh.
in I guess May I'll be delivering them because the technical due date is June, but they come early because
Right.
there's two of them. So yeah, just going to be navigating a year of mothership and entrepreneurship, and I don't know what the hell I'm doing, but I never have, and I seem to figure it out. So
Yeah.
I'm sure there'll be lots of trial and error, but yeah, I'm really excited.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. And there's such a good community around parenting and mothership and entrepreneurship and all those things. Um, and I know that there's some really great like Anna from My Momentum,
Mm.
who developed her company and her baby at the same time.
Yes, I
Um,
know Anna. We're friends.
yes, exactly. Yeah, I was gonna say I'm imagining that you would know each other. But there's so many incredible support networks out there. And I think I'm always really curious to follow these journeys and learn from you as you go along and
Yes.
um, in whatever capacity you end up sharing that kind of journey, and at whatever time you end up
Oh, I
sharing that
share it
journey.
all. Don't you worry.
Okay, okay. I should start following you more closely on Instagram. Okay, so I know we're kind of getting to the end of our 30 minutes, but I would love to know. I think you've already shared a lot about who you are as an entrepreneur and kind of the lessons you've learned. But is there anything we haven't touched on already that is like a key tip or lessons learned that you would want to pass on to someone who's maybe starting their entrepreneurship
Mm.
journey just now?
Like I'd say the one piece of advice I have, and from what a lot of people come to me for advice and stuff, whether they're starting an app or a small business. And one thing I see people struggle with the most is just um, over analyzing everything and not actually like diving into the work. like they're focused on their logo or their branding. It's like
Mm.
none of that shit really matters. Like it does, but why don't you just put your product out there and start learning from your customers versus focusing up on all these like hypotheticals, building financial forecast 5 years from now. Like maybe if you're raising a round, you need that stuff. But for me, it's like, I don't know, smoke and mirrors. Like none of that really matters until you get a product out there and you start to see the revenue, and then you can like get better estimates on that stuff. But personally, that's something I don't focus on. Financial forecast. I attempted to, I think I've talked to like three investors, if you want to include Dragon's Den in there.
Yeah.
And you know, back to like my vision thing, they're going like, what's your vision? And that's where like my downfall was. And you know, just pulling all this stuff for the investors, I thought was just personally just
Not for you.
bullshit. Not for me. Like I'd rather like I don't know, like just speak on my results versus where we're gonna go. And I understand like VCs and stuff need to see like a plan. So not for me, but I'm really happy bootstrapping and just building my awesome business and not answering to anyone. I have a problem with answering to authorities, so it works for me. But yeah, I think just dive into your business and progress over perfection, all those cliche sayings, like they're a saying for a reason, and it's because it's like a mental block that people have. And stop with the podcast and the YouTube videos and the books and just fucking do the work. Yeah, sorry,
And I know that's,
to swear on this.
I don't have rules around that yet. You're the first to do it.
Sorry.
No, it's totally fine. We'll put like there's foul language in this video.
Maybe like I guess you can't keep
disclaimer.
It out, yeah.
No,
anyway,
it's fine. Don't worry about it at all.
I'm very passionate about it because like I feel so many people have so much potential, but they just get like so caught up in their brain. I'm like, just like sit down and work. Like buy the domain, build the website. Like it's not hard. All the information is on Google. Like you can
use Life Lapse to market your products. Yeah. Like yeah. And I remember actually when I first met you, and you would talk about this as well in terms of like iterating, like listening to your customers and iterating. And I know like Life Lapse was like built on this kind of like ethos of listening to your customers, which is incredible. And I love when people come on here and say that, because it's not done nearly enough, and we wait until something's perfect. And I'm hoping, at least for Volition, 2020 was a good reminder to just get out there and test things and see how it goes, and listen to our community, and it worked out really well. So I'm hoping that was a lesson for other people as well. So I appreciate your candor. It's fantastic. So is there anything else that we haven't touched on today that you did want to speak about?
I think that's it.
All right.
Does anybody have any questions in the comments?
Yes, and that's a good point. I haven't seen any questions. So proud of ya. We had that come in.
Oh, so my friends tuned in. Thanks, friends.
And if you're watching it live right now, or again later on IGTV or YouTube, feel free to even there later on say hi and ask questions. We welcome those, and if we get a question for Sarah, we will make sure to pass it along. So just let us know.
I can respond in the comments.
Cool. All right. So one thing I always ask as well is, what can your audience, do to support you? So in other words, what is your ask here today?
Go give Life Lapse a download.
There you go.
Click on my handle. I have the company name in my bio, and then you can go to that and then download our app, create a stop motion video, tag us, let us know what you think, provide feedback. Just a small ask.
Yeah, but it's not like a scary, intimidating app, right? Like anyone can play around with it.
Otherwise, we've done our job wrong.
Okay, so anyone can do this, and it's really like fun and exciting. And go check it out. Like get inspiration. You can go to lifelapseapp.com and go to lifelapse_app at Instagram. You're also on LinkedIn or
in like
all the
things.
App
Store or Google Play Store.
There you go. Yeah. Okay. Go check it out. Give feedback. Where's the best place for people to get in touch with you personally?
Oh, you can just do Instagram DMs. Yeah.
Amazing.
I
Perfect.
spend a lot
Alrighty.
of time on this app, so you can catch me there.
Awesome. All right.
Yeah,
Um, I do have one last question I always ask, and then we'll wrap
sure.
up, which is, what is one thing that brings you joy right now?
Ooh. Um, I think going like seeing my babies at their ultrasounds.
Oh my gosh.
It's like such a magical thing. I've had two miscarriages, so like in the past I would go to an ultrasound and they would deliver bad news that like the baby stopped
Right.
growing, and I didn't really know that that was happening because my body didn't deal with it naturally. So
Right.
like whenever I go to these ultrasounds, there's like lots of anxiety building up to them, but then once I see they're fine and they're like dancing around in there, it brings me a lot of happiness.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
Amazing. All right. Thank you so much, Sarah, for sharing your journey with us, and in so many different ways, and for being very honest and open and sharing, the things that you love to do and hate to do and are passionate about, and swearing and all the things. I really appreciate it. I mean, that's what this space is here for. If we want to hear
So
about you
what
and get
I'm
to know
hearing
you.
is you appreciate me swearing. Okay, noted.
Yeah. Yes.
Taking
I
note.
appreciate you being you is the thing,
Yeah.
right? I think that's really important. And I'm really happy you were able to make the time to come on
Yeah,
here.
thanks
I'd
for
love,
having me.
yeah, of course. Just keep us updated, keep us in the loop, kind of like with you. If you tag Volition, we will share all the things, and we're
What
always
do you
excited
guys
to.
what do you guys have coming up? Like in terms of
Oh,
virtual events?
that's a great question. Yeah, we have a virtual pitch mastermind coming up on, I don't even know my own dates, on the 20th, I'd like to say. 20th, yep. There's one spot left that's like really small group. It's like three
Mhm.
entrepreneurs come and they do a 5-minute pitch, and we do peer-to-peer questions and feedback from Paul and myself. It's really fun. It's one of our favorite events that we just launched in September in response to some of the surveys I did with our community around
Yep.
COVID. And it's it's really wonderful to do that like really small group kind of feedback experience. So there's one spot left
Nice.
there, and then we have Amplify, which is our pitch event, kind of reimagined, I guess, ish, kind
Oh,
of. It's kind of like our classic pitch event, but we do it live stream to YouTube on the last Wednesday of the month. We just started in November, and it's 5 companies only, and it's really focused on, we still do like the feedback that we usually do with a 3-minute pitch, but then we do a lot of like brand exposure kind of thing. So I ask questions
cool.
after the pitch around like, what can we do to help amplify your business? Here's a big win that this company has, just like kind of to try to help small businesses get the word out, because that's what we heard was kind of a big reason that people were coming to pitch events to pitch in 2020 was they were finding it difficult to connect with their audience and their community virtually, and needed that kind of above
Cool.
most other things, just like kind of like what you're talking about, like these small businesses getting the word out and in
Mhm.
creative ways, and trying to get likes and shares and all these things that people consider to be really small and ineffectual, but they actually are really helpful. So that's
I'll
our
be
Amplify
sure to
event.
share with my networks.
Oh, thank you so much.
Yeah.
We appreciate it. Cool. Alrighty. So again, thank you so much. I'll be back here next Tuesday. I'm talking to a woman named Davina, and she's with Element Apothic, really cool company. So come check that out too. And otherwise, I hope everyone has a wonderful rest of your Tuesday.
Yeah. Thanks for
And
tuning in.
yes, yes, thank you, everyone. Bye.
Bye.